Hey everyone, welcome back to the latest GoSkills Excel Challenge solution. How close did you get to solving it? Well, we've got Microsoft trainer Deborah Ashby ready to share her solution. Check it out right now.
So let's take a look at how I solved this month's Excel challenge. And this month, the challenge was to practice printing large worksheets. And we certainly have a large worksheet just here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to File and I'm going to go into Print and I'm just going to check out the print preview. Because I can see here there's lots of things that we need to sort out, and I can also see that not all the columns fit on the page. And if I look down, I can see currently I have 202 pages. If I was to print this document, that is how many pages there would be. So let's go back and take a look at our instructions. Now, the first thing it says in here is replace every occurrence of Central America and the Caribbean with CCAC. So let's go back to our spreadsheet. I'm going to select column A and I'm going to press Control H because that's going to jump me directly to the Replace tab of the Find and Replace window. So in here, I can simply type in Central America and the Caribbean and what I want to replace it with, which is CCAC. So let's click on Replace All, and I can see it's made 534 replacements. Now we want to do the same for the Middle East and North Africa. So let's just replace what we have in here, and we want to replace that with MENA. Let's click on Replace All. Perfect. Now we can close down that window. Let's go back to our instructions. So we've marked off the first two. The next thing to do is auto-fit all column widths. Now, when it comes to resizing columns, we can do it very quickly by selecting all of the columns and simply double-clicking on any of the column boundaries. So if I hover my mouse over the column boundary between G and H and double-click, you can see it's going to auto-fit all of that information, which is so much quicker than dragging each of the columns manually. Let's go back to our instructions. Now, steps 4 and 5, we need to apply some formatting. So we want to apply comma formatting to column I and accounting formatting to columns J to N, and we don't want any decimal places. So let's go to column I where we have units sold. We want comma formatting, no decimal places. And then columns J to N, we want accounting formatting. So I'm going to select that one, again with no decimal places. Perfect. Step 6 was to format the heading row with a background fill color of our choice. So let's go back to our data. I'm going to click in cell A1 and do Control, Shift, right arrow just to select the entire top row, but only the cells that contain data. And then we can go up to the Home tab and we can choose a fill color of our choice. So let's go for a dark blue, and I'm going to change the font to white and I'm going to make it bold. I didn't really mind what you did here. Now, when you make any changes to the text, you might want to just go in and auto-fit the column width again, because applying things like bold makes the text bigger and it can then run over into the next column. So I always like to auto-fit again. Now we're looking pretty good. What's next? We need to apply all borders to the entire data set. I'm going to click in my data set, press Control A to select everything. And then on the Home tab, we're going to click the borders drop down and we're going to say all borders. So now that we've done the majority of the formatting, the next step is to check how our worksheet looks in Print Preview. So let's go up to File, down to Print, and it's looking a lot better, but I can see again, the columns are still being cut off. If I was to print this out, I'm going to have 303 pages. So we need to deal with that. Now, step 9 says adjust the worksheet so that all columns fit on one landscape page. Now, landscape is the key here. If we go back to our data set and go to page layout, I'm going to change the orientation from portrait to landscape, because that by default is going to give me more room to fit more columns on. Now, notice the last column is total profit. If we go into File and Print, whilst I have managed to squeeze a few more columns in, I still don't have all of the columns. So we need to do something else here. Now, the best way to do this when you're dealing with large spreadsheets is to jump into the View menu and immediately go into Page Break Preview mode, because this is going to show you which parts of the data are going to print on which pages. So you can see here currently this is all going to print on page 1. We have these blue borders around the outside. Page 2 is here, and it's going to carry on going down until it reaches the bottom, and then it's going to print the other columns of data for this one on page 153. So it's going to split up the first page across 2 different pages, which we don't want it to do. Now, a quick and easy way of doing this is we can grab this blue line that you see running in between columns I and J, and we can simply drag it all the way out to the side. And now notice that everything is on page 1. So now when we scroll down, we should find the next page break is here, and then we have page 2, page 3, so on and so forth. So we're still running across multiple pages, which is absolutely fine. We just wanted to make sure all of the data was on the first page. So if we go into File and Print, we can now see what that looks like. It looks so much better. And you can see we're down to 107 pages. Let's take a look at our instructions. So part 10 here was set up the data so the first row prints on all pages. Now currently, when we're in our print preview, you can see that when I scroll, I lose that heading row. So we want to set this up so that that stays at the top no matter which page we scroll down to. Now to do this, we just need to go back, and I'm going to go back into normal view and the page layout tab, because we want to go to this thing just here, print titles. And underneath print titles, we want rows to repeat at top, and then we can simply select the first row. And we can either click on OK, or we can go directly to print preview from here. And you'll see that now when I scroll, that heading row stays in place, which is exactly what we want. The final 2 parts of this exercise were to add a header and a footer. And we want the header to display the worksheet name in the center, and we want the footer to display the page number. Now, when it comes to adding in headers and footers, again, there are a couple of ways you can do this, but in general, I will go to the View tab, and I'll jump into Page Layout View, because that's going to show me the view where I can actually see my header and my footer. And when I click in the header in the center section here, notice I have a header and footer contextual ribbon. And this is where I can add different things into that header. Now, if we click the drop down underneath header, this is where we have a load of presets. So it will be things like the worksheet name, the page number, things like that. Now, I just want the worksheet name, so I'm going to select 5,000 records. That's going to go in the center. And then if we scroll down to the footer and click in here, this is where we want to have the page number. So I need to click the footer, and I want it to say page 1 of however many pages there are. So again, I'm going to use one of these presets, and you can see there we go, page 1 of 109. So now if we go back into print preview one last time, we should find that our document is set up and looking lovely. And this is so much easier to read than when we first started. So the answer I was looking for in the instructions is 109. And that's how I solved this challenge. Tell us what you think about our solution to this challenge by commenting below or joining the conversation on our Slack channel. That's it for now, and I will see you next time.
So there it is. Did you get the same results? Did you use the same approach? Or did you try something different? We'd like to know. Share your take on the challenge in the comments below, or join us for more discussion in our Slack channel. Link in the description. Thanks for participating, and make sure to subscribe to this channel to get an alert when the next challenge is released. We'll see you then.